me, Erica, and welcome to Redeeming Thunder. I wanted to elaborate a little bit more. Now, recording that one the night before and realizing that maybe what I was stating regarding a certain television series was, I was not trying to bash. I actually really enjoyed that series, and I was just coming into revelation that what I was trying to state is possibly what we watch on TV, it's not just face value TV, and possibly there is real, if we watch shows that are, you know, a little bit of horror, adventurous movies, and possibly there could be when there's supernatural, mystical things like that, possibly it could be real curse spells being cast, okay? Real witchcraft. Like another pastor was talking about hocus pocus. It's not just a Halloween cute movie that people like to watch during that time of that season. It's real witchcraft that these actors are conducting, and that's not necessarily, you know, I'm not saying you watch movies and you're going to be having a bunch of curses and spells. I mean, there could be a lot incorporated into that. It could be generational curses that are instilled within the family. I wanted to mention there was a particular, it wasn't Vampire Diaries, it was another one I was watching during this time that I was interested because I was a college student, and it was regarding college students entering a special program, a special school, and had to do with they accidentally entered a portal. And now, back in the day when I first saw this almost 10 years ago, I didn't really believe in all this portal. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know that witchcraft existed. I was just like denying it. Like, no, it's not real. I also didn't think magic tricks or magic was real. Okay, so somehow this particular series evolved into going to a magic school. And I honestly was watching it because I was like kind of interested in the sense of not wanting to practice that, but just like, what is this? Kind of in that sense. Okay, so I'm still concentrating on the road, so I'm not really looking, but I wanted to get this in so that way it's in sequence when I post them up, that you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, it's in reference to the one with the vision that I talk about, spiritualism, religion. Okay, so what it's called, manifesting. So now I'm talking about this particular series where I was watching, and not even too far in. I think it was only on episode 2 or 3, and I just stopped watching it because it just seemed like it was very satanic. There was all these monsters coming out, and I didn't really feel edified, you know. And during that time, I still, you know, I'm Christian. I still believe in God, going to church and stuff like that. And then I didn't think that, like, I felt like I was not trying to switch religions or anything. I just was like, you know, browsing the Netflix and just seeing what's interesting to watch. So it was not like I'm searching for it. I didn't have any real big interest prior to that. It was kind of like a random thing. So I just wanted to explain that part. And so anyways, yeah, I stopped watching because I was like, this is really looking like a satanic, and I don't excuse any, even though they're making all these hand motions. Okay, so I'm talking about manifesting things into reality. And the only reason why I got kind of in one episode, it dawned on me, one incident, what I saw is of a comment that one of my aunts made, that my grandpa would hand over, she would go to the store with him, and he would hand over a piece of blank paper, and then somehow it had a casted spell on it, and he would hand it over to the clerk, and the clerk will then receive it like it looked like cash to them, and then and then he would get all the stuff that he wanted to buy. And she's like, he would always buy us stuff. And my mom would say, he'd always buy them stuff. He'd always come home with gifts. And I'm just like, okay, you know, that's cool. You know, he has a lot of daughters, you know, that's nice, giving gifts. And I didn't think anything of it, of how he would buy them stuff. I always think naturally, you know, you're buying it with your own money. Only in the last 4 years did my aunt, no, in the last, she mentioned that around the time I was watching that. And then she elaborated more on around the last 4 or 5 years. Again, she mentioned it. And then again mentioned, my mom would mention that her dad would tell her to stare at something and make it move with her mind. And these little comments threw me off as a little girl learning these little stories, because I was like, it dawned on me, it's like, that's what these people are doing in these movies that I'm watching. And I naturally feel like it seems evil. Like, first of all, why can't you just turn off the light with your hand, you know, switch it off with your hand? Or why can't you just grab that cup? Or why can't you just walk over and move that pencil by picking it up? Why do you feel the need to manifest things, to have things come to you? It almost seems kind of lazy. It almost seems kind of like counterintuitive. And I know I realize now it's just in little trainings. And it was like, what's it called? Grooming for the real picture, which was Freemasonry. That's what they do. And I'm telling you that's what they do because my husband in this last year had this Freemason that admitted it to him. He said he spotted him from the whole group, and he wanted to chat with him about his magic and if he believes in magic. And my husband's like, I only believe in the Most High and his supernatural strength and power. And so sometimes enemies can, you know, they can point out anointed people who are going to have supernatural strength already, okay? And then they try to pull you into the dark side. And that probably could have been what was going on, you know. And I give you a little backstory. In my more recent videos, I do share that I learned that growing up, I learned that my own grandpa was a Christian pastor, songwriter, theater production. He was a missionary. He was jack of all trades. Okay, he could do wonderful things. An artist, magician, and now I know a magician. Okay, and then he was also very abusive. So he was one way outside of the house, and he was one way inside of the house. And yes, this is very personal, and it might offend people that I'm sharing this, but I'm just trying to share that we cannot be two feet, 1 foot out and 1 foot in. We have to have either both out or both in. This is judgment time. That, you know, and then later on I learned, recently in the last 2.5 years, my grandma, she was very much tormented by him. She didn't really enjoy her life. because she was struggling with his other personality, his other agenda. And so she thought he was Christian, and he really wasn't. So a lot of Freemasons claim that they're Christian, and then they trick you. They say, well, we believe in God too. Yes, they know that he's almighty. They believe the powers that God can do. But do they respect him? And do they? No. Do they follow him? No, they do not. They do their own agenda, and they try to max out what he can do with these magic and these sorcery and sacrifices and powers. Okay, so this is going on in the church, where people are dabbling in divination. They're going to church, and they're attending church, and they're singing to God, and they're making songs, and they're praising God, and they're playing instruments, and they're also then doing sage and or also doing any new age, also then manifesting things into the reality. Okay, and that's what this movie was all about. And so it all kind of came together, and I was like, I don't want any part in this. But when you have some generational history of somebody within your family being in the Freemasonry, it causes a curse, and sometimes more likely other family members end up opening the door to that, and accidentally, or it just kind of pops in their lap, and they just don't realize that it's that bad. They just think, I'm just studying, or I'm just playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I recommend you don't have your children play that, because it's just dabbling into magic, and it really is not just a game, a card game. It's addictive, and they really are demons. There really are names of demons within those cards, and when they are passing them down, you're calling upon these demons to enter your home. And my son, about almost 4 years ago, around that same time frame, where this is all revealing, okay, even more so what's going on in the family line on my mother's side. Not saying everybody was Masonry. I'm just Freemason. I'm saying that certain individuals. I had also a cousin who dabbled into it. His mother forced him to, and then she regretted it, and it was too late. So, and I have another family member. It's very around the same age, and she also had a boyfriend that was involved in that, and then got a little wrapped into that, accidentally trying to save him. So you really have to be spiritually strong to be able to help someone, pull someone out, and that person has to want to be pulled out of that. You can't just dive in and think it's fine, because they're casting all kinds of spells. And this individual, she's dealing with a lot of health issues, and he keeps casting all these spells on her, even still to this day. But some of these spells, some of these health issues and or unfortunate circumstances, financial issues, and all this stuff has to do with your own sins. Not always is it where some others warlocks are doing it to you. And I'm talking about beyond a regular warlock. The Bible talks about warlocks and witches who slander and gossip are still in the category of warlocks and witches. Now, I'm talking about those that also practice divination and sorcery, and those fall under the lines of still warlocks and witches, but they are doing extra, okay? Anyways, that I don't recommend watching movies and videos that have witchcraft. That's more of the story, especially those that have, you know, spells and also hand motion spells. And TikTok has a lot of videos out there for teenage people to get involved in that, thinking it's innocent. They're just trying to do what the next popular thing to do, and all they're doing is casting spells on themselves and also learning how to cast spells on others, and it's becoming this evil cycle, and it just becomes nonsense. Okay, nonsense in the sense of your life crumbling. It's coming to a drastic halt. Okay, so when The Secret, there's a book I talk about, and I reference Robin Martyr, who had made a video regarding that, regarding manifesting things into reality, and it has nothing to do with the Bible. And it states that it does, that it's trying to get you closer to God, because you're using what it says in the word, and you're twisting the verses. There's twisting the verses. It's not really holy. It's not holy at all. It's actually teaching one to be self-righteous. Anyways, magic and performing magic, you know, whether with hand signals or in your mind and or out loud, is magic. And they're not saying it. They're just saying it's manifest. They're using the word manifest. And then the thing is, this is the problem. This is what I wanted to clarify. Going to churches, different churches, you know, got out of that church, went to a different church, got out of that one, and it seems like that this is what they're preaching. These pastors and they're preaching to manifest it into the atmosphere, proclaim it, but they're forgetting to say the last detail, say in the name of Yahusha, in the name of Jesus. That's what, you know, most recently I learned the real name of Jesus. So like, is Yahusha. And when you're just saying it and you're not saying it in his name, you're basically acting like your own God, and you're proclaiming things with your own strength, and that is where you're going to get in humongous big trouble. And you think, oh, well, I haven't gotten caught now. I'm fine. I have everything that I want and need, you know. It's like, you're like, I'm not a Freemason, so I'm fine. And that's, you're not supposed to be, okay? But you're not fine. What I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to put family members in bad light, but the thing is, sometimes it needs to be said all the way, so that way we stop sugarcoating of things that are wrong. I'm talking about the sage and the plants and the chanting. I had my other grandmother on my father's side who did that, and she was a Christian, what I've known all my life, right? But she was, one cousin of mine was sick, and his parents asked their mother to pray, and when she did is she prayed to God, and then and I know that this happened because it was in one of the rooms that they were staying at our house during that time, and I was standing by the door, and I'm like only 7 years old or something, okay? So, and I am watching her. All of a sudden she has a pile of sage and leaves, and she is chanting and making these Native American chant noises, and she is shaking this plant all over my cousin that was laying on the bed, because they were really worried because he had a high fever and he wasn't getting well, and they were doing that, and it was like getting to be really creepy. I felt a very evil presence, okay? And then I ran downstairs and I told my mom, hey, what's going on here? You know, can you please come upstairs? You know, it looks like they're doing something evil, you know. And I'm only 7, but maybe God gave me the spirit of discernment even from that early age, because I could already discern that was wrong. She went upstairs and she's like, you better stop, you know, because we only serve one God here. So, and that is, all you have to do is pray for him. You don't have to do that. And so at the time, my grandmother, she started getting very mad and started saying, and my mom kept standing there, and then she's like, I have to stop. I can't continue doing my prayers because she's not letting me, you know. And then that was that, and that was the only other incident I actually saw in real life what it looked like to do some kind of pagan ritual, which that's what it's called. I'm going to call it the way it is, even though it was from my own family. I can't sugarcoat what it is. And then later on, going into the future, she seemed to not ever do that again. Apparently, we brought it up to other family members, and they said, yeah, she does that sometimes when we were kids, and she would do that sometimes. And I'm just like, see how people have mixed 2 different religions and then attend a Christian church. It's like, you know, you see a psychic instead of going to seek God into the secret place and know what's going on. I just wanted to summarize that, and I'm not trying to bash on certain But I wouldn't watch magicians. I wouldn't watch, that was the Netflix series. I wouldn't watch episodes that teach manifesting into things into reality, because it's actually a form of divination, and there is serious consequences with that. And right now, we're in end times, and God's doing a bunch of judgment on the wicked and lukewarm.